Dr. Mohammed, thank you for joining us. What are the root causes for the recent wave of violence?
The main root and cause of this Palestinian and new reality is the general public of Palestine are extremely depressed because of the political realities, because of the economic situation, because of the Israeli aggressive measures against our people, and simply because of the settler violence and settler terrorism that has been seen in the burning of the family of the Wabshi, as well as Muhammad Abu Khadir and others. So people in general are extremely angry that there is no political horizon, bearing in mind that President Obama in his speech at the United Nations did not mention Palestine in a way or another. And this has actually shown to the Palestinian public that the international community led by the United States, as if they have washed their hands of the Palestine question in the current situation. Bearing in mind also that the region is boiling and sinking in bloodbath, and that Palestine as an important cause has not been an urgent issue in the minds of the international leaders. And therefore all of this has pushed the situation to really into a very inflammatory situation. The economic reality also is extremely depressing. Palestine Monetary Authority and Palestine Ministry of Finance has stated that we only received 50% of the international pledges. The reconstruction of Gaza is extremely slow. Poverty is very high. Unemployment in the Gaza Strip is 39% of the total labor force, and in the Gaza and in the West Bank, it's about 21 to 24%.
Do you think that it's fair that the Palestinian Authority also gets some of that anger towards it? That the Palestinian Habba, that you called it Habba, may be also directed in some way toward the Palestinian Authority because there is a lack of progress in the peace process?
Frankly, I am astonished that this Habba is not against the Palestinian Authority, because all the indicators are negative. And because it's the Palestinian public who are extremely politically aware, and the fuel of this Habba is the youth, who know for sure that it is not the Palestinian authorities that is the cause of all of this. Palestinians are victims, whether they are public, youth, women, men, or the officials of the Palestinian Authority. They are also victims of all what is happening. So therefore, I think that channeling it into against the Israeli occupation is simply because everybody knows in Palestine that the economic situation has nothing to do with wrong economic policy. That political impasse, it's not we who are responsible for it, it's the Israeli government. That reconciliation even, Abu Mazen and all of us are saying starting tomorrow, we want a national unity government and we want to go to elections. Hamas is blocking all of this. So nobody can really blame the Palestinian Authority for being responsible for any of this that is happening on the ground.
If you can evaluate the role of the American administration in the last 7 years and how effective President Obama has been in playing an honest mediator in the conflict between the Palestinians and the Israelis?
I think Washington is a victim of the Jewish lobby. And therefore, I think Washington cannot be an honest broker, because we know for sure that Washington is in a strategic alliance with Israel. And therefore, how is it possible for Washington to be an honest broker if you are in a strategic alliance with one of the parties? Second important issue, from day one of the last round of negotiations, which started under John Kerry, 29th of July 2013, President Obama was not fully engaged. President Obama has allowed John Kerry to try without really putting the weight of the White House behind John Kerry. One, we know if there is a will, there is a way. When President Obama decided to fight the Congress, the Jewish lobby, Netanyahu, Israel, everybody, when it comes to the Iran deal, he managed to make it. He used the veto against the Congress and so on and so forth. He has mended fences with Cuba and so on. So
why Israel? Why with Israel he hasn't used his power, his influence to make a change?
I think President Obama has gone back from what he promised in the Cairo speech. I think he has realized that he doesn't want to get engaged. I think President Obama is under a lot of pressure from the Democratic Party to not to put pressure on Israel because they want the candidate of the Democratic Party to get elected in the next round of elections. So there are more than one factor. But also, I think that maybe President Obama was driven by the fact that two presidents before him, Bush, the son, as well as President Clinton, they tried and it didn't work. But unfortunately, President Obama did not try himself at all. From day one, as I told you, he allowed John Kerry to try, but he himself did not engage himself fully and personally. He thought if John Kerry will make it, he will claim it is his.
But even before Kerry, I think if I remember correctly, when he came to power in 2009, he did make the settlement issue big. He did ask Israel to freeze the settlement issue, but that was not received very well or positively from the current Israeli, Prime Minister. Is he giving up? Is he giving up on the issue of Palestine and Israel?
First of all, it is true he made the statement, but actually he did not make a follow-up himself to try to make his speech with foot, to walk. His speech was nice at the Cairo or at the UN and so on, but he did not employ certain policies in support of his speech. To give you an example, it is not enough to say that you condemn settlements. It is not enough to ask Israel to stop settlements. The question is, what did you do to force Israel to stop settlements? The Americans didn't do anything. I remember very well when James Baker in 1991, he asked Ishaq Shamir, the Israeli Prime Minister, you have to stop settlements, and if not, I'm going to deduct every single penny from the American loan guarantees given to Israel. So this administration, they are saying that, and I'm saying to them that it is true that you cannot bring the horse to the river, but you cannot force him to drink. But if you make the horse thirsty, you will force him to drink. The American administration never made Israel thirsty. And the approach that if you do this, we give you that, it is not working. The American approach with Israel is always with incentives. This incentive, it doesn't work. You have to move. I know Washington is not in a position to move from a carrot to a stick, but I know Washington can move from a carrot to non-carrot. Unfortunately, President Obama did not employ any policy vis-a-vis settlements. He asked, and they didn't accept, and he did nothing.
Do you genuinely believe that the current Israeli government, led by current Prime Minister Netanyahu, genuinely believe in doing peace with the Palestinians, and do they believe in the two-state solution?
No. The strategy of this Israeli government is a no-solution strategy. To maintain the status quo, and they know for sure that the status quo is unsustainable. But this Israeli government is systematically destroying the possibility of two states by simply destroying the possibility of a Palestinian state through the destruction of four pillars of this state: Jerusalem, the Palestinian Rift Valley, Area C, and the total siege on Gaza. So these are the pillars of a Palestinian state which Israel is destroying every day. And therefore, I think that this current Israeli government is not only that they don't believe in two states, they believe in nothing. They don't want
not even a one-state solution?
I don't think that this Israeli government wants two states. I don't think this Israeli government wants one state. I remember very well, even not this Israeli government, a Labour government, when Vitzval Havel, the president of Czech Republic, was visiting Ehud Barak, and he told him, why don't you live with the Palestinians in one state? And he told him, my mother came all the way from Poland, rejecting to live with the Polish. For sure, she will not accept to live with the Palestinians. This is a very racist approach. So for us, we are ready for two states and we are ready for one state. Israel is not ready for two states and Israel is not ready for one state.
So what's Israel's strategy now?
A no-solution strategy. The question is, what is our strategy in response? Our strategy is actually to break the Israeli strategy, is to break the status quo that Israel is trying to put us in. We are internationalizing the struggle through three different dimensions: political, economic, and legal. Political, we are going to the UN agencies, bilateral recognitions, and so on. Legal, we are going and continuing to go to the ICC. And economic, we are supporting the European measure on labeling settlement products and so on. And we are hoping that Europe moves from labeling to boycotting the settlement products. In parallel to the international measures, on the ground, we are also, the Palestinian Central Council has taken a decision to say that as long as Israel is not abiding by the signed agreements with the Palestinians, we are not going to continue abiding by these agreements. So we will redesign the Palestinian-Israeli relation in three ways. We are not going to continue with this economic relation because it's a colonial dependency. We are not going to continue on security coordination because we pay in security, we don't get anything in return on political terms. We are not police for the Israeli security. We are here to police the security of our people. And the third important issue is the political. The Israeli-Palestinian negotiation track is dead and blocked, and I don't think that there will be any return to that political track simply because Israel, Netanyahu, does not believe in two states. He does not want to end occupation. He does not want to regenerate hope for the Palestinian people, and we don't think that he's a partner for peace. Netanyahu is a colonialist. Some of his ministers are settlers living in colonies, and they don't believe at all in two states. Also, in reference to this very important question that you mentioned, I would like to claim the fact that if Netanyahu continued to say that there is no difference for him between Tel Aviv and Ma'ali Adumim, which is a settlement in the West Bank, I also claim to say that there is no difference for me between Jaffa and Ramallah.
Dr. Mohammed Shtayyeh, thank you for your time.
Thank you.